Hello Taurus friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my for Taurus Eyes Only exclusive Taurus March 2026 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. We're going to dive into the most important dates and events of this month astrologically and do it all through the lens of the Taurus experience. This is for you if Taurus is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Taurus placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. Very late degree Taurus friends, so birthdays like May 15th through the rest of the sign or 23 degree Taurus placements through the rest of the sign. I suggest you additionally listen to my Gemini report as you Taurani friends will benefit from both readings. I'm going to give you a lot of important dates and you may want to write them down. So if you have something handy to write with or in your notes on your device or whatever, you may want to grab that and be prepared. If you can't write it down or you don't want to or otherwise just like a written visual report, in another window right now, go to anniehelpsyou.com and click on Unleash. And that way you will get your free March 2026 star report with this sweet and salty dates. Salty are the aspects that I call the nasty ones, and sweet are obviously the harmonious ones, and everything in between. This month we have a lot of wild card aspects, so I will go into some of that here, and you will get the full report there. It's a wonderful accompaniment. Okay, so let's take this piece by piece to give you a proper understanding of the richness of any month that we talk about astrologically. We've got to talk about things in layers. Sometimes those layers mesh nicely and match and tell the same story as some other layers, and sometimes they conflict and just add different currents into our experience. But breaking it down piece by piece here is going to help you understand everything that's going on. So the first thing to know is that we have a massive amount of Pisces energy this month. Mars will get there early in the month, joining transiting North Node, the Sun, Pallas Athena, Mercury in retrograde, and Venus, all in Pisces. And that's going to make this a very magical, mystical, spiritual, warm, touchy-feely, emotionally connected, heart-focused, artistic pursuit type of a month. You know, your inner world is going to be very much enriched and your connections with others will be very much enriched. The fantastical, the imagination worlds, the psychological, the dream time, all of that is super enhanced at this time. And, you know, it coupled with the fact that we are in a Mercury retrograde cycle, which is very strong all month, is really pushing us into this inward and backward and reflective sort of mode. All right, so you will be feeling that, and you'll have lots of chances to connect with other people in meaningful ways, because specifically for Taurus, this Pisces energy moves through your 11th house, and the 11th house is the place where we connect with others. It's the social aspects of our lives. It's the group and community aspects of our lives, the teams, the organizations, the social media, the gatherings, the networking. So there's a softness to all of that, and there's a heartfelt connection to all of that, and there's an emotional component to all of that. And fortunately for Taurus, elementally, water flows well with earth. These are a little couple together elementally, and there's a nice flow. Earth holds the flow of water. Water helps to create the the grooves in the earth where the energy can flow. And it's just really a nice pairing. So you will feel this. It will be very social, but at the same time, you'll need to counterbalance any excess connections with others through some quiet, personal kind of downtime. And you'll be noticing that a lot this month. You may be extra sensitive. Things may be extra loud. Your dream time will be amplified. Psychological and spiritual insights will be supercharged. And you may be doing this type of discussion of these things with other people, like waking up to the world of synchronicity and the world of spirit. It's a very magical, mystical time. What it also can be is a very confusing time between all of the kind of amorphous, abstract water energies and the fact that we're in Mercury retrograde. You're not going to be able to see many steps ahead. And for Taurus, that can be a little bit uncomfortable sometimes if you're trying to get stuff done. if you're trying to make progress, if you're trying to get some plans in order and get a strategy, you may have to wait for it, okay? Because the cogs in the wheel of the forward movement this month are going to be awakening step by step. So the first step is going to be when Venus gets into Aries on March 7th. It will then proceed through the whole month to make conjunctions, meaning exact aspects where they're right on top of each other, Venus and Neptune, then Venus and Saturn, Venus and Chiron, Venus and Eris, and Venus and Ceres. And you will feel the action-orientedness of these Venus conjunctions progress throughout the month. So this is another current that gets stronger as the month goes on, but really starts at the same time as we've got this floaty, flowy, mystical, watery energy. So you'll be feeling it. You'll be ready to take some action, maybe before it's time even, but you'll be getting kind of rowdy from this. Then March 20th, the sun will get into Aries, and then over April or March into April, the sun will then make all of those same conjunctions that I mentioned. And then the action will, continue. Once we get into April, though, we'll have the benefit of not only being out of the Mercury retrograde cycle, but also Jupiter is going to go direct on March 10th, which is another cog in the wheel. So March 7th, Venus gets into Aries, starts kind of this boiling underneath the water, so the water is coming to a boil into action. March 10th, Jupiter, after a 4-month slumber, wakes up. Areas of your life that went dormant may really start waking up now. Those bigger visions that may have gone to sleep, where you may have been less inspired, less motivated, more tired, less interested, or the bigger dreams just had to be tabled because of other things you needed to deal with. Those big dreams will start to wake up now. Along with it, optimism and faith and hope and creative solutions popping in. So Jupiter is waking up in Cancer. So home and family and housing things that may have gone dormant, especially towards the end of 2025, like around November, may start to wake up again. If you're trying to sell a house and you've had no activity, you may start to see, those things spurring a communication project, a writing project, because for Taurus, this Jupiter from the middle of 2025 until the middle of 2026 will be in your communication and your transportation sector. This is also your relationships with siblings and cousins and aunts and uncles. And it is another social house. So Jupiter's waking up here and you're starting to feel that. So you're coming out of the fog, the bigger vision is coming in, the movement is starting to happen. So let's talk about the Mercury retrograde process. The fact that Mercury is going retrograde with all of this Pisces energy means you're going to be rethinking some things. And since it's in the sector of friendships and your teams and your communities, one of the things you may really be rethinking is your connection with certain friends, with certain groups. You may return back to someplace that felt very fulfilling for you. You may be reconsidering or taking a break from social media or, something socially. And really, really be reflecting on this and thinking about it and reconsidering it and getting a plan or trying some things on, experimenting. So the Mercury phase started February 12th when the pre-shadow period began, and it kept getting deeper into retrograde until February 26th when it went officially retrograde. March 20th is when it goes direct, and it will take until April 10th for that post-shadow period to clear. Then we open up April 10th into June 13th. Those months there are going to be our big open window free from personal planet retrogrades where the tides will be going out. We don't have a lot of this energy this year because we've got a Venus retrograde at the end of the year. So we're going to be a very sort of retrograde-y year. So we really have to take advantage of these windows when the tides, as I like to describe them, are going out. So until April 10th, the tides are coming in. But as I've talked about before, March 10th when Jupiter wakes up, March 20th when Mercury starts to wake up, they're like, you can feel the shift in the tides. So for most of the month, we're really sort of standing on the shore, waiting for things to come to you with the tides. And if you try to push something out on the tides, it'll come right back to you. So it's great for short-term things, promos, experiments, things intended to be transitory. But if you have big life dream things, major things that need oomph and long-term ventures, things that need much more clarity and forward movement where the tides are going out, you may want to be getting all of the things ready for your launch. And then April 10th through June 13th, you'll have that nice open window. But if you do have to get some stuff done, depending on what it is, as the month progresses and we're getting in these Aries movements, towards the last 10 days of March, especially growing, you may see that, you're able to start moving in the direction of the big launch, but it just might not be the time yet for the actual big launch. A very sweet spot in the month for setting intentions and having quiet decisions being made is the days around March 18th, when we've got a new moon at 28 degrees of Pisces, adding to this Pisces story, where those inner decisions, that inner quiet place where you're planting seeds for the next 13 moon cycle, where you've got that time to sort of really go in deep with that. Hey, let's talk about one of the biggest things of the month, building up here to this big event. The eclipse on March 3rd at 12 degrees of Virgo is a full moon lunar eclipse. Every 6 months from the end of 2024 until early 2027, we're having a Virgo Pisces eclipse cycle. This has been very favorable energetically for Taurus placements because the Virgo eclipse parts, which are one of those is happening this month, is in a trine, the most favorable aspect in all of astrology for Taurus. And then the Pisces ones are in a 60-degree angle, which is our other very harmonious angle, the angle of opportunity. So having an eclipse in a beautiful angle for you is pretty exciting. So being at 12 degrees, well, really anyone is going to have the opportunities that I'm going to talk about, but the closer you are in a Taurus degree to 12 degrees, so we'll just say 7 degrees through 17 degrees and the closer to 12 degrees, the more you may see something very overtly noticeable or more intense or more obvious from this eclipse. So that's basically going to relate to the very end of April birthdays and the first week or so of May birthdays. Or if you know your degrees, 7 to 17 degrees, the closer to 12 degrees, the more of an intense impact there. But like I said, if you're not in that zone, you're not going to be left out. You just may feel it more notably, or it may be more obvious for you all. So what new things are happening here? The general theme is your passions, your hobbies, your creativity, things involving romance, children, your bucket list. All of those may be coming to a head in a very big way. Something very notable happening there, life-changing even perhaps. The storyline of your joys versus your connection with a group and your shared project joy or shared project vision is what the 5th and 11th house story is all about. And that's where these eclipses are occurring specifically for Taurus for this 2024 to 2027 time frame. So every 6 months, something is bubbling up, something with how you're sharing your gifts, how your unique contributions are merging with a group, and how your leadership can shine in a group, but how also the group can support your individual work and vice versa. Also with Virgo and Pisces, this is very much about mental health, physical health. Pets and animals come into play with Virgo. Even work and career from the perspective of what you do every day. Your daily work can come in. So you may see some news there as well. Think back to 2015 to 2017 and 2006 to 2008 when this happened last, this eclipse cycle, the Pisces Virgo one. And you can sort of see what kind of themes in those arenas came up then. If something bad happened in those times, it doesn't mean it will happen again because the stars are different now than they were then. But you might get some general sense of, did something big go on with children? Did something big go on in romance? Did something big go on with a passion project? Did something big go on with, your friendship groups or teams or communities, or an internet-based project or a tech-based project? So you can kind of watch the mirrors of time as these echoes from the past get built upon now and in the future. From the bigger picture, we're standing before about 6 to 7 years of radical change in the finances for Taurus as somewhat unstable but super genius Uranus is going to be influencing your second house. It's popped back into Taurus. You all have been experiencing it in your sign for the last 7-ish years. And it's still there a little bit here, but it's not far enough away from your second house to not be influencing it. And that's every Taurus from the whole house perspective. And the early degree Tauruses may be feeling that more on some level, but it is, a whole sign effect. So you might have to get a little bit more innovative with your finances. You might be embracing instability. Sudden windfalls can come in, and you may have already been experiencing this since Uranus has been teeter-tottering in this space. And that storyline is going to continue, where sort of tuning into the lightning strike of insight and ideas and brilliance may really change your financial experience. As the planets start moving into Aries and these Venus and then Sun conjunctions occur, all of this is going to light up your 12th house of your subconscious mind, the same house that actually is ruled by Pisces. So you've got double flow here to really utilize the genius of your subconscious mind, to master your mind, to find out the riches that are in there, either through psychotherapy or meditation or dream time, active lucid dream work. Your inner world is lit up in a very long-term way now, from Neptune now being there, and Saturn now being there, and Chiron having been there for a long time, and Eris being in there for an exceptionally long time. Sirius is really just blowing through, but there's going to be a lot of brilliance that comes into your mind, a lot of sudden insights, and you may want to be actively using that energy, because it can be so productive if you're using it consciously rather than just going through it and not knowing what's going on. And it's setting a new path for your whole new experience of intuition and using the language of spirit through synchronicity and through insights that you feel that may be different than what makes sense on paper, or maybe not be as logical, but you know it in your heart. If you resonate with my work, please subscribe, click like, and if you want the written star report that I talked about, the March report, then you can go to anniehelpsyou.com and put your name and email address in there. Just click on Unleash and put your info there. And in the welcome letter, it will give you instructions on how to get that monthly sweet and salty date report. If you want to see personalized reports for the outer planets, the ones that move slowly but bring major themes for your chart, go to Annie B. Clarity, Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. And if you want to learn astrology with me, if you resonate with how I teach and you want to learn, either to help you and your family and your friends or to do it professionally, I have an astrology certification course that you can check out at beastropro.com, beastropro.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.